Good morning, everybody. Happy Friday to everyone that's watching this. It's being recorded on a Friday as we speak. Just had some great conversation with one of my dear friends and a partner of ours out in rural Saskatchewan. And we were having a conversation about people getting started in her network marketing company and you know, a lot of the concerns that people have when they start a network marketing company is, you know, are my friends going to buy the package? How much is the investment cost? What's the kit cost, right? Those kinds of things. Or I don't know if my friends can buy that or will buy that. It's a normal thought process that people go through, right? And we were just talking about that, and it hit me kind of an analogy about how really network marketers are farmers. We are farmers. And I'm from Saskatchewan. I'm a prairie kid, grew up on the farm. So shout out to all the farm people in the world, feeding the world. Keep it up, guys. You know, really, when you break down what we do in our business, there's so many similarities to a farm. And I often, I don't think people look at it this way. I don't think people realize it this way. So, you know, I was thinking about it and driving and chewing on this, and some analogies came to mind that I thought I'd share with you guys that maybe you get a little bit of value out of. If you find this interesting, do me a favor, like, comment, and share on it. I would just really appreciate that. It helps us spread the message around. And follow us on the Dream Big Life, you know, on YouTube, Instagram, Facebook. Check us out. We've got a new blog that we just kind of did a soft launch on called dreambigmentors.com, so check that out too. That'll have a lot of new content coming on it. Anyway, so farming and network marketing. Well, let's compare the business of farming and break it down in terms of building a home-based business. So if you're one of my farm friends, I just ask you this question: how much money do you make from your land every year? From the land. And unless you're grazing and doing hay crop, you make nothing from the land. Nothing, because the land by itself, if you don't plant seed, the land by itself generates no cash flow for you. None. It's an expense then, right? Paying taxes, etc., etc. So one of the biggest expenses that you have in your farming business is the land. It's probably the biggest expense, you know, is purchasing land. And yet that on its own makes you no money. What's one of the other biggest expenses that you're going to, you know, incur on the farm? You know, there's so many expenses in farming, but I mean, a common one that people visualize, right? My friends from Alberta used to make fun of me being a combine jockey, right? But a combine. Today, a combine's, you know, $250,000 to $350,000. And I'm out of touch, so I'm sure that number's not quite accurate anymore. But let's call it a quarter of $1,000,000. How much money does a combine make you in a year? Nothing. A combine sitting in your shed, in your Quonset, in your shop makes you zero money. It costs you money, right? If you take a combine out and you put it on the land, you drive it around, you don't necessarily make any money. Because if there's nothing growing on the land, there's nothing to sell to the elevators, nothing to sell to the grain merchants, right? So a combine doesn't make any money. Your equipment doesn't actually make you any money. Your land doesn't make you any money. You can have the finest soil in the world, the best combines, the best equipment, but if you don't plant, you'll never harvest, right? So where this conversation started was around startup kits. Well, if you don't go buy seed, how can you make a profit in farming? You can't. if you're a grain farmer. You can't. If you don't have anything to plant, how can you have a harvest? Right? If you don't have anything to plant, you have nothing to thresh with your combine. If you don't plant seeds, you will not get a harvest. In network marketing, the seeds, there's two parts of the seed. The land, you can think of the land in two ways. The land is like your network marketing company. The land holds the potential, it holds the nutrients, it holds the resources to create, to grow your seed crop into something you can harvest, right? So think of the land as your network marketing company. Do you have good, fertile land that has the resources to help your seeds flourish, grow, so you have a large harvest and that you can sustain that harvest for a long time, right? That's your land. Your seeds are your seeds are your products and your people. Because it depends on what kind of company you're in. You might be in a service company, you might be in a health and wellness company, you might be in a experience company. There's lots of different kinds of companies out there. Your seeds are your people that you talk to, your product that you talk to, your product that you promote to people, right? That's your seeds. You could also say that your seeds are your people, right? You plant your seeds with your product into your land. And if you have good land and you have good seed, your people will grow. So you can think of it as the land is your network marketing company, the seeds are your product, and the seeds grow into your people, into your team. That's maybe a better way of explaining it. You can tell I'm kind of making this up on the go here. But does every seed you plant create a harvest? No. Some seeds don't germinate for whatever reason. Sometimes there's a drought and most of the seeds don't germinate. If you planted 10 seeds, would you get a harvest? Well, you might get 3 or 4 plants. But no farmer would ever just plant one row. Like go down the middle of the field with the seeder and plant one strip. Say, okay, I'm good. You'd never do that. You plant millions of seeds, tens of thousands of seeds, because some of the seeds don't grow. And every farmer knows that and accepts it. That is reality. So you have to plant enough seeds so that enough seeds will germinate and sprout and grow. And then the farmer who owns their network marketing company, they have a job. Their job is to pluck the weeds, right? Use your treatments, your herbicides, your fertilizers to keep the weeds down so they don't choke out your seeds, your people, your plants as they grow. We don't want to let the weeds choke them out, right? And we also need to fertilize that land because the land is good, but it could use help. The plants are good, but they would grow bigger if we fertilized them, right? That's why we fertilize them on the farm. So we, as a farmer, our job is to tend those seeds, tend those people, tend those plants, fertilize them, weed them, and eventually, if you do a good job of that, you will have a harvest. And unless you get hailed out, which is out of your control, maybe like a company going bad, that's not in your control. A hailstorm comes through, wipes out your crop. Is that your fault? No. Do you cry about it? You might. But what do? You just plant another crop. Because that's what you do. You cannot harvest unless you plant a crop. Right? So, I guess where I'm going with this is, no farmer in their right mind would ever buy farmland, buy a combine, and not buy seeds. You have to have seed crop. That's why you have to have products to be able to share with people so they can have an experience and a real testimonial and know exactly what they feel like. Some people are going to love the product, some people aren't. Some seeds germinate, some seeds don't. That's okay. Some plants grow and then get a disease and they die. Some plants grow and flourish, and from a good strong plant that started with one seed, you can get dozens and dozens of seeds that you can replant, and those seeds can grow and give you dozens and dozens of seeds each. It's no different than a network marketing company, guys. If you find a person that you can keep the weeds away from, that you can fertilize and help grow and flourish, that person can help bring you 10 or 12 more people or more. And each one of those people can help bring you 10 or 12 more people or more. And some of those seeds are going to die. Some of them are not going to germinate. Some of them are going to get eaten by the birds. But you would never, ever, ever buy a farm and say, how fast, I want my money back in a month. And then, even worst case scenario, you would never buy a farm and say, well, I'll see if it produces and then I'll buy seed. That's never going to work for you. You can't buy farmland and say, well, if it grows a crop, I'll buy seed. I'm going to go out and talk to it about growing a crop. I'm going to talk to other crops, and hopefully some of them will come over to my farmland. It's never going to work. You have to buy the seed to be able to have something to plant, so that you have something to water, something to weed, something to fertilize, so that you can eventually have a harvest. So I hope that made a little bit of sense to everybody today. If you will treat your network marketing business like a farmer that goes through the seasons of planting, cultivating, fertilizing, and then harvest, you will grow something that's a legacy business that will outlive you. If you treat it like a get-rich-quick scheme where you don't even want to buy seed and you expect to get rich, forget it. Don't start. Don't join. It's never going to work for you. I'm sorry. It just won't. It just won't. If you're going to treat it like a get-rich-quick thing where you're like, I'm going to try this for a month. I'm going to try this for 3 months and see if I get my money back. Would a farmer ever do that? Of course not. It takes time for the harvest. So if you're going to try it for a couple of months, don't bother starting. I'm just going to be real with you. It's just not going to work. You're already out before you began. Choose good land. Find good mentors that can help teach you how to plant seed and harvest. Do that and be committed to the long haul, and you will grow crops that flourish and can feed nations. That's my hope for you guys today, is that you look at this a little differently. If you like this, do me a favor, give me some thumbs up on this. And if you got some value, even better, share, comment, and let other people know what's going on. If you're in the network marketing space, keep planting, keep cultivating, keep weeding, keep seeding, and you'll eventually have harvest. Have a great Friday, everybody.